concluded spectrum auctions fetched the government close to 1,10,000 crore rupees, and more spectrum sale is lined up. And does the industry have the stomach to really buy more airwaves? To answer that and a lot more, we have with us Telecom Minister Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad, speaking exclusively to ET Now. So thank you so much for taking out the time. So going into these auctions, there was a lot of talk about the pricing, and in fact the industry had even taken a position that it would not bid so aggressively. But looking at the collections, the government's position on pricing has been vindicated.
In fact, the government position has been vindicated on a lot of issues. The first, there is no adequate spectrum, particularly on 2100 megahertz. Now we offered 85 megahertz for sale and 15 has been left out. There was adequate spectrum. Secondly, they said prices will touch the roof.
Right.
It didn't happen. You know why all this has happened? Transparency, reasonable fairness, predictable norms. We offered the highest quantity of spectrum available in all the bands, namely right. 800, 900, 1800, 2100. Flexibility was there. This spectrum usage charge norms were laid down. Liberalization of 800 was done. Therefore, the players know India is a big market and also a big emerging market. And this 97 crore is going to become 100 crore very soon. You shouldn't forget it. In that view of the matter, this kind of price was certainly bound to come. One more misconception I want to dispel, that many operators were going to have their license expire, right. Therefore they had to do it.
Right. That's correct. A lot of them said that it's a scarcity induced auction. Yes.
We offered 470 megahertz in various bands. About hardly 170 was the expiring license quantity. Therefore, more than 67% was additional. That also went for a very good amount. Yes, I am thankful to the operators, to my officers, to the department, that the highest ever auction amount we have been able to achieve.
So it was because of the business case that they were really bidding aggressively. It was not really that much of a scarcity-induced auction.
Obviously, India is a big market. Let's not forget it. We have overtaken America in terms of internet connectivity, as the service providers tell me. I am very pleased, very impressed.
So now that the auctions are over, the legal case is still pending. Do you think it's time the industry moves on in the interest of the ecosystem, in the interest of Indian Telecom? It should actually move on from the legal case that was filed before the auction.
India is a free country. Anyone has got the right to move the court.
Right.
And on pending issues, I will not be able to make any comment. I should not.
Right.
Being a senior lawyer and former law minister also.
True.
But having said that, I would certainly flag this. If you have no complaint because of the fairness, the entire transparency in the auction process, it is entirely for the operators to take a call. Should they allow the case to linger on? They have got the right to. How can I say? I would not grudge some of my eminent friends of the fraternity lawyers appearing for them and even making good money.
Right.
In lighter vein, you must clarify.
Of course, of course. But sir, does it not make for a case to now probably move on, given that the auction proceeds have come, a part of that has already come in? Don't you think that industry should in fact
Obviously,
move on?
it is entirely for them to consider. I am determined to restore the glory of this department with twin objectives in mind, which I have always stated: consumer satisfaction and growth of the telecom sector.
Sir, why is it that you have the industry and the government always on two sides on all important issues? What is the reason for the industry to be such a fractious in nature?
I am not.
Okay.
As I said jokingly, industry people will be the happiest if I give them a spectrum for free.
Yeah. Right.
I can't do that. Right. World over it is not done. But only is a matter of assurances that whatever misgivings they had, genuine or motivated, turned out to be misplaced.
Right.
Therefore, perhaps it is the case for a new beginning. I have told my officers whatever is required to be done further for the growth of the sector, I am quite open for that.
So, what would that be if we were to talk about in terms of specifics going forward, policy decisions that need to be taken?
There is already a high-powered committee headed by the secretary. They have been hearing them, whether there is a case to revisit some of the penalty provisions, make it more transparent, more predictable. I am open for that. Sharing and trading of spectrum guidelines are going to be in place very soon. They have been worked out.
Right.
You know it in terms of law. if the Telecom Commission differs with the authority
TRA.
recommendation of the TRAI, it has to be revisited.
Refer back, yeah.
Therefore, all the legal compliances will be done, and it will be done very quickly. As I said, this was not the last auction of the NDA government.
Right.
And the NDA government is going to stay here quite a good number of years.
Right.
Because we have a definite agenda of development of growth. And in the scheme of Honorable the Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, digital connectivity, broadband availability, and India becoming a more digitally empowered society, as I always say, bridging the gap between digital haves and digital have-nots.
It's a huge agenda for the government. Right?
In that way of the matter, the telecom operators have to play a very crucial role. The internet service providers have to play a very crucial role. I hope they will understand that larger horizon with which this government is functioning.
But sir, do you think the Digital India initiative, does it get compromised if, let's say, spectrum acquisition costs become high? Because the industry has been saying that now there is no money to invest, there is no money to really take broadband to the to rural areas. Does it not impact your Digital India campaign?
I think I should not sit in judgment over the balance sheet of the companies, okay? Except to say with full sense of responsibility that India is a huge market.
Right.
India is an enormous, potentially promising market, and therefore it will be a win-win for all. And obviously, consumer will be driven by competition, and there can be a lot of rates also, boxes can come about entirely for the companies to take a call on that, depending upon their business viability.
Right.
Therefore, I am not at all concerned. The huge size of India's market, I would say, is the biggest incentive, and also the market which is going to expand very soon because of what I have stated earlier.
So, speaking of the impact of the auction, you have mentioned that there will only be a marginal impact in terms of tariff. COAI, the GSM industry body, said the impact could be as much as 12 to 15%. Do you think in the event of a tariff hike being as much as 15%, it makes for a case of the government to step in, given that it would be anti-consumer?
First of all, you must understand what I had said. I very firmly hold that it will be negligible.
Okay.
I am aware of the fact that mobile rates in India are at point number 4 from the bottom in the entire world.
Right.
And this business case has emerged because of the huge market potential of India, 97 crore mobile phone plus. And I am sure, while I will compliment all the telecom service providers for the great work they have done, but I am sure they have been able to expand because of the sheer good business case also, supplemented by volume. But what I had said very specifically, a very good expert whom I learned to respect, let me not name him, has said a simple arithmetic. In terms of TRAI report, an Indian consumer consumes mobile time 350 minutes per month.
Right.
You multiply, and this spectrum cost is for 20 years.
Right, of course, yeah.
Therefore, the load will come to 5,300 crores. The total revenue rollover yearly is 2 lakh crore of all the combined telecom operators. So, 2 lakh crore is their revenue rollover. 5,300 crore will come the annual load.
Right.
Therefore, you multiply 97 crore into 350 into 12 months, 1 month each year. You get a number. You divide that by 5,300 crore, it hardly comes 1 paisa on an average. Therefore, even that is minimum depending on the business proposition.
Right.
Therefore, what I have said is very objectively I have thought to explain
But
it.
then, sir, the industry is completely divergent on this, which brings me back to my point.
I am not supposed to come with a tu-tu meme with the industry.
No,
I am
I
the
agree.
minister. I hope you must understand that.
Absolutely.
If they have their view, let them take their business case.
Moving on, quality of service has deteriorated very significantly in the last couple of quarters, in fact, the last couple of years. Do you think now, with more spectrum holding available with telecom companies, it makes for a case for a much higher quality of service? And do you think the government has all rights to actually ask for a superior quality of service?
As far as improvement of quality is concerned, I have certainly an obligation and right as far as PSUs are concerned.
Right.
Let me only say through your channel to all the private operators, as a Minister of India, I am equally accountable to the consumers of India.
Right.
And if the consumers of India are complaining, there are a lot of call drops even in case of private operators.
Right, absolutely.
They must take this caveat and suggestion earnestly and improve. Now the spectrum is available, let them reinforce things,
Yeah.
because in a sheer promising business case of India, those who deliver good services are bound to have good customers.
Right. Which just brings me back to the point you mentioned, it's a caveat for private telecom companies. What is the recourse available for the government in the event that quality of service doesn't improve?
You know, as far as quality of service is concerned, TRAI is the authority.
Absolutely, yes. It comes out with the quality of service indicators,
yes.
that is correct.
I can only counsel as a minister. I can sensitize them.
Right.
I can advise them gently. And I can bring to their notice, individually and publicly, the concerns of the consumers of India, which I am doing. I am sure they will consider, because a company which gives good service would have good market. A company which does not give good service will have problems. It's as simple as that.
Right. So you talked about sharing and trading rules. So do you think that these rules should have ideally come before the auctions, given that that would have of course aided the private sector as well, and are there still some glitches that continue to exist?
No, I must tell you, I had initially thought of that idea, but the whole process of consultation has to be gone into.
Completely, yeah.
You cannot ignore that altogether. My problem was, if I would have delayed this auction, then I would have created uncertainty for the entire telecom operators and consumers.
Right.
The licenses of many are going to expire this year.
Right.
Therefore, if we completed in the time frame we have outlined for ourselves, it is a kind of assurance to all the existing license holder whose license is going to expire, that now the picture is clear. There is no ambiguity. Therefore, pure in public interest, this auction was not delayed, A. And B, most important, the process will be complete, they will also be there. My idea is very clear. Defense band has been identified,
Right.
pending for the last 7-8 years. This swapping and harmonization with defense band will also be completed.
Right.
And please note, how much of campaign was there that adequate spectrum is not available? Not in 2100 band. Why the 15 megahertz is not being taken? And here I am still left with surplus 2100 megahertz of 15 megahertz, which are not sold.
Right.
Therefore, a lot of campaigns were there.
So I'll come to the 2100 megahertz point in a bit. Just one question on the sharing and trading rules, just one clarification. There seems that the glitch that continues to exist is that a lot of spectrum holding is fragmented that telecom companies own at this stage. Will there be some effort by the department to address that issue so that sharing and trading becomes a lot more meaningful for the industry?
I think once the sharing and trading norms come into effect, if certain administrative decisions are required to be taken to make contiguity more meaningful, trading more meaningful, I am quite open for that.
Okay.
If they give some suggestions, we will certainly consider that. Let me tell you, or let me tell the operators through you,
Right.
that whatever reasonable, meaningful is required to be done by the department to make mobile operations more meaningful, more consumer friendly, I am quite open for that.
In fact, that will be a huge relief for the telecom companies. So moving on to the 2100 megahertz auction, you did mention that there was still a lot of spectrum that was unsold. Does it now make for a case for the government to not auction the entire 15 megahertz that will be vacated by the defense?
I regret, this is a very hypothetical question.
Okay.
Because how auction is to be done, there is a norm for that.
Right.
We get TRAI recommendations, Telecom Commission considers, then I give the final view as my minister, then it goes to the cabinet. Therefore, what shall be done, I should not make a public comment about that.
But it definitely dilutes the industry's stance that more spectrum in the 2100 megahertz should be put up for auction, given the previous auction.
Obviously, I am not making an issue, except to flag again that many of the campaign were motivated. Many were genuine.
Right.
And whatever genuine, we address that in terms of good governance norms.
Right.
And I want to assure all the industry people that you have a huge market in India. You have a thriving future promise in India in digital connectivity. Tap up this great market, gear up all your guards. I am willing to work with you so that we make India a more connected society.
Done. Sir, in terms of auction, future auction, Are we to assume that there will be another round of auction that will take place in the current financial year, and which would be these bands that will be put up for auction?
I don't think I should make any comment on that.
Okay.
I'll have to review it after the existing spectrum auction is allocated. What is left, what we are further going to get, a proper objective assessment has to be undertaken.
Okay.
And thereafter we'll take a call on that.
And that could include 2300, 2500?
Obviously, why not? Why not? In fact, I can tell you, with 4G coming, with data rising enormously in India, India becoming a very happening place in the field of digital connectivity, all the spectrums will have enough promise for growth.
Right.
How to go about it, whether to calibrate it, these are questions to be taken after elaborate considerations.
But how soon can we expect another round of auction?
Come on, one auction had troubled you a lot, it has just ended. Let me settle down and let the players also settle down.
True. True, sir, true. But sir, what about 700 megahertz? There has been a lot of talk about that really being the band that will
in fact,
focus on data.
To be very honest to you, after this whole spectrum allocation is over, and by the way we manage court cases also is something to be highlighted.
True.
There were so many cases all over the country, from Karnataka High Court to Allahabad High Court to far away Tripura High Court.
Which is why I asked it right at the beginning, sir.
Getting them consolidated, and ultimately I am grateful to Supreme Court also. You know what is important is now that I would like to personally go through the entire gamut of spectrum availability in various bands after this whole allocation is done, as to what surplus we have. For instance, I get a lot of observations about this Wi-Fi, you know. How can we use them further for remote areas connectivity as far as digitization is concerned. Therefore, I will take a structured view. I will ask the department to give me a presentation after this whole allocation is over as to how much of quantity of spectrum we have, how much we are going to get, in how many bands, and what productive use we need to make of them. And thereafter, I think it will be a proper way to go for the future auction.
So, one question on the consolidation. The industry has been crying out for M&A norms. It has been crying out for consolidation given it's a very crowded market. How soon can we expect the M&A norms, and do you think the norms that were talked about need to be tweaked for any meaningful consolidation?
I have told my officers who are in consultation with them that if these norms need certain tweaking for improvement, we are open for that. Let me make it very clear to you.
Okay.
But as far as consolidation is concerned, that will be a pure business case between two players, where we don't have the role to play. We have only to lay down the norms, which are best, which are pro-growth, and which are also pro-sector satisfaction. That's how we have to go about it.
So, the government would be open to tweaking both the market cap as well as the spectrum caps if it is required?
If it is required.
Okay.
If they are in consultation, let me take a feedback.
Okay. So, one question on the auctions. There was a lot of activity in the 800 megahertz band. A lot of players bid very aggressively in this, which has traditionally been the CDMA band, which doesn't have much of an ecosystem in India. What was the rationale behind that? And also, sir, do you think that sort of dilutes the GSM companies' argument on the extended GSM argument?
I cannot make any comment as to why they bid so fiercely. Okay. But I can make some general comments that 800 is good for data. And because of data business in India going to rise enormously, good potential, they went for it. It is entirely their business case. 900 is good for mobile telephony and other connectivity. Therefore, if we are offering in a fair, transparent manner, the players bid aggressively with enough of competition, perhaps realizing a good business case for growth.
But that dilutes GSM companies' argument about extended GSM?
I'm sorry, India is such a huge market, it can cater to all the technology and all the qualities. Okay. And because we have said any spectrum will be technology neutral, anyone can use it for any technology, surely there is enough promise for growth.
Okay. So, one last question on the auction before we move ahead. So, the dynamics was such, or the bidding dynamics was such that a lot of effort was really made to escalate prices. Do you think there is any truth to that, and do you think as to ensure fair auctions, the government would look into any such allegations?
Oh, absolutely. There is no merit in this allegation at all. If the auctioneer was conducting everything in a free and fair manner, we had also enlarged that time to take a call, you know that we have also expanded that.
Right.
If that your business gone. And I think all the telecom companies investing thousands and thousands of crores are advised by very competent people, isn't it?
Right.
Who know the rules of the game.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely, sir. So, on to Digital India, extremely ambitious campaign initiative of the government. Help us understand the next milestones that the department is working towards, and of course, the kind of capex commitment that it will be needed in.
Let me tell you, the frame, this is Digital India is a mission mode program.
Right.
And let me tell you, it has basically three components. Creating digital architecture for delivery of services to citizens. Number two, e-governance, namely you deliver services. And number three, digital empowerment. These are the three principal components. The state and the center have to play a role together. And therefore, I have involved most of the state governments now. Electronic manufacturing is a big component of that. But we notice certain lacunas in the process of implementation. Both the architecture and also the implementation layout plan which was made out. The PM rightly thought that we must think of revisiting it. This e-commerce is a huge proposition, you know that, 70,000 crore rising. The great Chinese entrepreneur has got good interest in India, you know it very well.
But sir, what will be the big changes that this report has suggested that you would be open to making in the Digital India?
First of all, I must tell you, we are examining it.
Okay.
Once we take a structured view, it is a good report. I'll come with that. But if in order to make NOFUL more meaningful, more subserving the larger objective of broadband India, if something is required to be done, I am quite open for that. Private players will have a big role. I can flag something to you here. Chandrababu Naidu said, you are giving a contribution, I will do it to the entire household. Now go ahead, he's having his own model.
Right.
Many state governments are, Tamil Nadu is toying with the idea, they have got a government cable company, they are open to that and they can consider it.
Right.
I talked to a lot of cable operators in cities like Delhi and Mumbai. They are very excited to give broadband through cable connectivity. In towns and cities, I said go ahead.
Right.
And I was very impressed that one of my friends, Shekhar Tiwari from USA, who has taken over small companies, cable companies in Hathras, in Muradabad, in Vrindavan, in Mathura, by infusion of FDI, is giving broadband at rupees 500 in Aligarh and all. I am very impressed. So all these ideas will be combined and pulled together. The whole objective is that empirical studies show that a country which is having more broadband connectivity, the direct impact on GDP.
That's correct.
That's what I was saying.
Right. So one last question before we wrap this up. There is a lot of discussion on net neutrality. Over the top companies, there is talk that they might be regulated. TRAI has floated a consultation paper on that. So as Minister of IT and Telecom, what is your stance, or what is the government's stance on net neutrality?
You must understand.
Right.
When the TRAI is already having a consultation,
right,
it will be completely imprudent on my part to make any official comment.
Right.
As a minister.
Right.
Except to flag one issue. Internet is one of the finest inventions of human mind. It is a property owned globally.
Right.
And a property, an invention to become globally meaningful, it must have an integral link to the local.
Right.
And the local people, be it India or in China or in North America or say across the Atlantic or anywhere, must have a right that my voice is going to be heard.
True.
And for that I mean not only something global, but also a platform for the local, culturally, historically, civilizationally, literally, everything. That's my idea. And that will make a truer, happier world. That is my larger take as far as net neutrality is concerned.
So you're in favor of net neutrality, one can say that.
I didn't say that. Yeah. I only made certain general observations.
Right.
But the consultation paper is going on. Let's await the whole result of that.
Right, sir. We leave it at that. Thank you so much for taking out the time. Thank you so much for speaking exclusively to ET Now. That was Telecom Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad making it clear that the government will soon finalize a spectrum roadmap across bands, and only then the next round of auctions will happen. And in the interim, the industry can expect spectrum sharing norms and even M&A norms that will aid the industry, and in fact is open to tweaking them to aid Indian telecom.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.